Alright, so having done most of the lower hull there, I've started looking at putting everything on the main deck. We got the RGB flashers for the freezer tubes all done, and next up is going to be putting the LEDs into these tubes once I know how much actual fiber optic is coming down from the top side. So I'm going to start working on the command console pretty soon. What I did to that just now was to throw in some extra styrene sheet to block the light coming off of these main sensors and any stray light that may be going up in here through the fiber optics. I also backed this wall off too, just to catch any extra light. This piece is really going to have to be clamped down to get a really light tight seam around the bottom there. So I think that's really the only way to do that, and it's going to be a tough one. We'll see how that goes, but that will be up soon. And I also have the brass for that, for the control panel, so I'll be digging back into how to properly trim brass and glue it in place and deal with it overall. But as to the top side, the main thing to do, or rather that is to say, I've got 3 sections mostly taken care of. We've got this guy here, the space pod wall. I just need to put some fiber optics through here, and the one LED is going in there. There may be another one for the other side to come. We'll see about that. Next up is this back room wall, which has a fairly good fit, but what I'm going to do is reprime it before I glue it down, and then once I glue it down, I'm going to address the seam created there, spray paint all that, and then respray paint the deck entirely. So this should be the first piece to go down and be unified with the body. Directions may call for a specific piece, but I won't be using that one. And then over here, this piece is fully fibered up. It's a matter of threading it through here, setting this piece down. This one can almost go and is ready, except it's a lot of fiber to be dealing with on the back side until you're absolutely ready that you're ready for it. But what that leaves is this computer wall. 3 main components, 3 full sections. Each one of these 3 sections here is getting its own lighting situation, the fiber optics as well. There's a couple points up there. Over here there's the general alarm sign, which has to be read and blocked off from everything else around it. There's also a couple particular lights that go through here. The ball including, there's every single point on there is a light. I also want to try and get rid of that seam if I can, but the main thing here is this computer wall. And there's a few things that have been done to it, but what I'll first show is I just have this. So I've got this flasher for a bicyclist. These aren't going to have this exact pattern, of course, but it shows how well sectioned off all the lights are overall. There's a few things that are getting it to section off like that as well. Let me shut this off here. This piece is composed of many layers right now. 2 of them contributed by my friend Elliot over at Fedoratron. I think he had a slightly different thing in mind with what he sent me, but let me show you what we've got here. This is the normal piece that comes with the model kit. On the back side, I white glued in all this plate style plastic, which gives the light some texture going through. Then Elliot made the circuit board for me, which, if I were to do it correctly, where is the other one? Let me track it down. So if I were to do this circuit board correctly, I would wire each LED into each of these columns going all the way across, resistor them on the back, and you've got your entire lighting setup, in which case I'd put it on the back side. That's basically, you just got to drill every single one of these holes here, and that's a little more work than I'm really interested in doing. But that does make a really nice texture design as well. So behind the plate immediately there, I'm putting this texture, and Elliot also cut out this photo etch, which is pretty close in proper size. I just had to cut the edge down here, and that works out really well in my case, because what I'm doing is looping it over the edge, and that helps keep it in place